Hello. Yeah, our topic today, development with PWA. Let me give you a short introduction to myself. My name is Lars, and I'm working for Tech Division as a senior engineer, and also I'm proudly part as maintainer of Magento Community Engineering team. And mostly I'm there responsible for PWA Studio, community features, pull requests, roadmap, merging, etc. And yeah, so before I want to start with development, I would give us 1 or 2 minutes to align the audience there. Because if we want to know about, hey, how we can develop with PWA, we need to know about how we, which technologies we use. And first we have GraphQL and Bubble. And also we have Webpack for parsing and building our application. Then we have React that renders our JSX elements, and we have Node to run a build server. And last thing is Apollo here is implementation of a server or a GraphQL server and a client. And we use in PWA only the client implementation. So this is the technology stack. If we speak about PWA Studio, we should also know about which components we have. First of all, we have Upward. This is how we deliver our application to the front end. The second thing is Linear UI. There is anything placed what will be shown in the front end. Linear concept, good point or good to know is if you scaffolding or scaffold a new project, Linear concept is the folder or the base what you need for adding or creating a new project scaffold. If you upgrade from 7.0 to 8 version, mind you should also compare your scaffolded directory with Linear concept, because in version 8 we're adding new dependencies to GraphQL client, and if you don't compare it, you getting strange errors. And this is only a short note. If you're already having a scaffolded project and upgrading to the latest version, you definitely need to compare your project folder with the Linear concept folder. So then we have Page Builder here. Page Builder is our first PWA extension built on the Target framework, but the core team already decide or think about, hey, which extension we should create. So, and then we have PowerGrind. There are our hooks or our collections of hooks placed, like our GraphQL mutations, our GraphQL things, and how we build our custom React hooks. And then we have PWA build pack. This things allows us to build our application and contains the development tool like server and etc. So if we speak about development, we also should speak about extensibility, because as developer, I want to having a possibility to extend my scaffolded PWA project very easily. And maybe I don't want to have everything placed in a mono repository. This means like I want to have an extension what I can install later with Yarn. So, and to making a point here, our extensibility should be secure. This means PWA Studio should take care about, hey, we have no possibility to inject something. Simple to use. This means we, as developer, we want a simple API. And also, I want to have a possibility to override or extending many things as possible. So, and if we have a feature without a documentation, it's not really helpful if we need to research for 10 hours or 20 hours to get this thing running. So this is what I expect as a partner or as an agency developer to the extensibility. So we want to extend the build process. We want to extend the hooks because we have a hook library, but maybe we want to use intercept or something like that. How we can do it, I will show later. Register own routes because we have already a route shipped or router shipped. Extend content rendering because if you call a Magento page in PWA Studio, there is a logic what resolves is this route a Magento route or not. And if it's a Magento route, we have a possibility to register our own renderer. Example show I also show you later. And then we have extend GraphQL queries and mutations. And last, I want to override or extend CSS. So, and the last thing is replace and insert and extend JSX. So a current implementation of PWA extensibility is it's a low-level extension point what is exposed as high-level extension point. This means we use in the base Webpack tappable, and this is a plugin system from Webpack. This allows us to inject something in the build process. This thing is really complex, and if you don't know about Webpack or Webpack plugins, it's totally okay because the core team already take care about which APIs you will have in the front end. But to understand how we can develop or extending something, it's important to understand, okay, we use Webpack tappable, and also we publish them. So yeah, Webpack tappable. And it exposes a simple high-level extension point. This means we as developer doesn't need to take care about bubble, Webpack, etc. We don't see anything about it. We get simple JavaScript functions, what we can call from our front end. So this is currently possible with the current implementation of PWA Studio. We can register our own routes, extend hooks, extend build process, and extend the content renderer. But what is about our requirements, replace, insert, and extend JSX? And what is about extending and override CSS? And the last point is, hey, I want to extend GraphQL and GraphQL mutations. Okay, there's a big question mark. So good news, there currently already a pull request is in Q&A from our lead architect or old lead architect, James Selden, because he left the team, I think, last month or this month, and he got a new position. But the last thing what he did for us was a great small pull request with 5,200 lines of code. And what I want to do with you is we want to go over it and see how we can use it and how we can develop with the current stack some extensions. And yeah. Here we have some charts because he adds also in his pull request some declaration or drafts what you can use for your own project, and definitely check it out. Hopefully it landed soon in development, because we already in Q&A. And so for that reason, it's good to take a look on it and see how it works, what are the new things. So let's do some live coding. Oh, okay, for some reason. Okay, I don't need to take care about it. So before we start with live coding, I would like show you how I use the new targetable API to build a new extension point for payments. Because as me as extension provider, or me as agency, I definitely want to extend payment things. Because Braintree doesn't work well for European customers, or doesn't work well for us. So, and to show you something, is it works really similar to the old route API, what we already having, or almost similar to the old API from rich content renders. And it allows us to define a payment code. This is a thing what we get back from Magento, from the Magento GraphQL API. And we can define here our own component. So, and with this nice command, you can scaffold from my branch a own PWA scaffolded project, and already can create some custom payment methods. So to share a little bit implementation details, but not go too deep in it. The code, what I added is pretty simple. It is a class what use ES modules, and we ship many already many things in the branch of James. There's also like ES module array, ES module React component, etc. And I use here an object and publish. My add function publishes an import. This means we get something what looks later like this. We get an import and an export default, and we can use this in our payment array. So let's go to the PHP store and do an example here. So first things, what I want to show you is there are two ways to start with development. The first way, what I want to share is you can use the scaffolded thing, and if the pull request is landed from James, you're already having the possibility to register your own module overrides. This means like we can add an import and amending a button in the footer, because we say we want to add our button, what we import here, to after the footer. Also, we want before insert the header, we will also want to have our own element. So if I start now my yarn watch command, I'm getting already a custom page, or a custom scaffolded thing. 2 hours later. So let's see. Okay, We see we having our insert before JSX element, and here we having our footer element. And to show you that my new API works, or how it works, you can also check in the source every file what is changed by build process is already there. This means if I open my payment collection here, maybe I need to go to checkout. Yeah. It was not loaded on the main page. It makes totally sense. This is the file what we changing by our local thing. This means if I'm removing this here, I'm removing now my custom payment method. Now I need to restart my build process. For some reasons, currently the watch doesn't work on the local intercept for me. I don't know. Maybe it's something what I have currently, but it was working some days ago. So, and now we have only Braintree here. To show you what also you can do with the extension framework from Magento, I prepared a custom extension or a custom extension creator, and this thing do already many stuff. You can run it really similar to Yarn create a project, but it use Yarn create Lars Roettig at Pwa Studio. It's an open source GitHub repository, and this thing allows us to create a new Pwa Studio extension, and asking us already a couple of questions. So this means which directory we want to have, which package name, etc., etc. So I already prepared this for a contact form, and I think we want to develop an extension together here. So let's go in the code. We have here Lars Roettig subscribe, and this is our package. So under components, we will place our components. This means I need to take a look on the time. Don't know. I don't have a timer here. Okay, forget it about it. How we can develop here something. Usually what I do is I start with components, and then I use something like subscribe. If I do typos, sorry. So we need our uppercase here. If not, we don't get this thing running. So first thing is we need an index.js, and here we need to export default from our component what we're creating now from something. So now we need a new file, subscribe. No, this was wrong. Okay. So, and here I have some PWA oh, my IDE doesn't want to work. I don't know why. I tried so many times and to do here live coding on stage, but it doesn't work. Oh, no, there we are. So this shortcut or live template from Magento already generates us a boilerplate or the boilerplate code for our component. This means we already getting a subscribe here, a CSS, and we only need to create a file here, and it generates the empty JSX component. So now we want to use this as a form or something like that. If you generate a CSS class, don't forget about CSS classes, what you're defining here, because if you don't do it, you get a fatal error. So, hello. This is our first step. So now we have an empty subscribe thing. Let's create targets of Magento /Wiener minus UI tab routes maybe I have prepared this thing. No, I don't have. If you don't know about the syntax, or if you don't know about, hey, how I can use something, there's also a good documentation where you can find the docs, or where you can find how you can use it, or how you can use this API. Go to PWA Studio.
Lars, hate to interrupt you. Sorry for that. But first of all, we've got 5 minutes of your presentation more. So just to you to keep track of the time. And the second of all, could you please increase the font for our listeners could read from your screen?
Oh, yeah, I can try.
Thank you for that.
Okay, then I switch from live coding to make a point here to close this thing. So let's do a front. It's better now? Or should I do something like this? So also what you can do with the current API is we have a possibility to register own front rich content renderers. This means we have here targets of Magento build pack. This is one of our special flag features. In my generator, I have some links to the documentation. This thing is what you need to get a working PWA Studio module working. And with this syntax, you can register your own rich content renderers. This means we can also send here a component name and the import path. And I will publish this example on GitHub later. If you worry about, hey, you show so many things in a short time here. So, and this is our front awesome rich content renderers, a rich content render. And this is exported and used in the index JS as component and as can render. Because the public API of a front awesome of a rich content renderer is component and renderer. This means you can have currently only one if you per module. If you're using the thing like what I'm doing, I use the index to publish them to build pack or to the build stack. So I think I close this now and starting earlier with questions because I think there should be many questions. Hopefully.
Hi, everyone. You may text your questions in the chat for me to to speak it to the presenter. I believe there are no questions so far.
Okay.
Yeah. One question. As a completely starter on Venya and what are the resources to learn to develop?
A good start is learning with React. If you don't know about React or how React works or how JSX works, this means like, hey, how this is converted in some JavaScript logic or some JavaScript thing and executed by the browser, you will not understand how PWA Studio works. For that reason, starts with the basics. This means React and Webpack. And then you can go to our Venya documentation site here. And here we have a couple of tutorials. This means like how you can set up a project, how the structure is of a typical project, how you can add a typical route, etc. Also, I have a YouTube channel and a blog posts. You will find it definitely if you're searching for some PWA Studio tutorials. And there I'm describing how you can do things. Also, this code is published to GitHub, and definitely take a look on it and check it out because it's a too short time. I started with 1 hour and then I reduced everything to a half hour. And live coding in a half hour is it's a thing.
Thank you, Lars. Thank you. And yeah, we've got comments before that people here values your work and your YouTube channel and your Git very much. Thank you. And we've got all the great reviews in here. Oh, and we've got one more question. What is the difference of PWA over AMP in regards to performance? And how does the PWA impact SEO and performance on a server? Does the project needs to be on a separate server?
Yeah, very complex question.
Yeah, we've got 4 minutes for that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, both are phrases, or both are a technology stack. AMP or PWA means yeah, something headless. AMP, as I understand, is a different thing what Google came up, and it's both technology things. How you can host this PWA. To make a fair point, I don't know what is really the difference between PWA and AMP, but PWA is a mobile application. It's an app, or it's a website what you can install on your mobile phone and behaves like an app. If you can do this with AMP, I don't know. I don't use it. One point about AMP is AMP is much stricter than with caching as PWA, because AMP was originally built for newsletter sites and content sites, but not for commerce. And I don't know if it's working now, but I heard about AMP limitation that that it doesn't work for commerce things. This is what I heard about AMP. So, and about hosting, or about SEO question, currently PWA doesn't support server-side rendering. This means you need an additional thing what builds your JavaScript to blank HTML, because there's currently a thing in search engine. 2 times or 3 times per day comes a bot to your website, and this bot doesn't support currently JavaScript for performance reasons. This is how crawling works currently from Google side. And then 1 or 2 times per week come a bot to your website that supports JavaScript. For that reason, currently you need something what renders your JavaScript to static HTML to get the best match for search engine. This is, but I already heard about that this thing will be changed from Google in the future. This means 1 time per day comes a bot what allows to crawl JavaScript, and then maybe they replace the crawling engine by, hey, we support full JavaScript applications. But I'm not working for Google, and I'm not a really SEO consulting expert. And about the server question, PWA have a possibility to host both things on the same server. This means you can run PWA over upward PHP, and then it runs over PHP, not over Node, on the same server. But this has many limitations for you. For that reason, if you want to host or starting hosting PWA, you can do it on the same server, but use the tool PM2. This is a node server, or a node server what allows you to run PWA serve on the server level.
Lars, thank you. That was awesome. Thank you very much. I believe that is the time for us to wrap up, and that is it for today.